Hello, racing fans, and welcome back to the final edition of Handicappers Corner for the Hastings Thoroughbred season. Closing day at Hastings, Saturday, October the 16th. Mike Haslam and Drew Forster are going to go through the 10-race program. Hopefully, decent weather conditions. We do have 10 races, 2 stakes races.
I don't like your chances.
I know, we're not looking good for weather, but whatever. We're diehards. We're going to be out there.
We'll be there.
2 stakes races, the BC Cup Classic, BC Cup Distaffle. $50,000 stakes races for our best BC and Brents. Should be a good day.
Yes, absolutely. As you mentioned, 10 on tap on the Saturday and the Sunday to close out what's been an extremely successful 2016 meet. This will be our last show for the season, but we will come back and do a Breeders' Cup show.
November the 5th.
About
or
3
4th.
weeks from now.
Yeah.
So let's get right into it. First race on closing day is a claiming event for 3-year-olds and up, 62.50, going 6.5 furlongs. Field of 5, bunch of droppers in here, as it is last weekend. I went to Power Corrupt out of the Mike Anderson barn. The way he closed to win a 16 non-3 two-back, I think suits him well in here. You have Abil is going, Adich is forwardly placed, Krias has speed, and I think it sets it up for a closer here. So I went to Power Corrupt on top. Of the horse, you got to beat. He's going to be the favorite as Adicha. But I just see speed in here, and I think he could be compromised, so that's why I like Power Corrupt to come and run him down late. I got Adicha in the second spot and Krias in the third spot, coming off a nice win and an 8 non-3 into the 62.50 category. I went 1-4-5.
Yeah, I chalked it out with the 4-horse Adicha. I think he's Adicha, obviously winning for 12.5, shows up for 62.50. I mean, this is the horse to beat. And, I've gone to him to win it. Krias and Power Corrupt would definitely be the next two. I wouldn't be surprised to see Adicha lose, but he's going to have to really regress to lose.
Or go
Power Corrupt
get
is interesting, and Nana's Body's had a great one. John Snow's done a great job with Nana's Body.
7 for 8 in the money.
We didn't even talk about Nabil's had a great season as well. These are 5 nice horses, but Adicha looks like the best on paper. I went 4-5-1. In the Sunday opener, on the race number 2, $4,000 claimers, numbers of 2 a lifetime, going a mile on the 16th. I'm going to try the 4-horse one time. I think this horse is going to get the lead. I think he'll run all day. I'm hoping he can run all day. He's kind of a cool horse. He got caught up in a wicked pace last time. The track, you notice that C beside the 22 flat. That's signals that closers were doing reasonably well that day. And I know the speed won that particular race, Adams River Run, but this horse was chasing a pretty quick tempo, and they ran pretty fast. I think he can get the lead here and be nice and relaxed and be pretty dangerous. I'll try one time to defeat the 1, Otis Brown. It was definitely the horse to beat. Gets back in. He was entered a lot of times for non-2-4, but the races didn't, for whatever reason. I don't know why non-2-4 longs haven't gone. I know we've had one big promise in crazy spots.
Into a 4 non-3
well, we ran
on
a marathon in September in the starter marathon. It's just that for whatever reason, the non-2-4s haven't gone along. Haven't filled, and Otis Brown ended up running for 16, going long, and then running a safe race. So he's back in where he belongs. He's live, and the 2 were on. I thought ran a pretty big race last weekend against a couple pretty good marathoners. I went 4-1-2.
I went to the 1, Otis Brown. He's going to be the favorite, and as you mentioned, the last time he was in for this price in a maiden 4 going a mile 16th, he won by almost 7. Just absolutely crushed. I got Otis Brown on top of Feel No Shame, the horse he beat that day, who was come back to break his maiden last time by almost 4 lengths. It was an impressive run going long. He sprinted and then went back to a long race. That's how he wants to run. I put him in the second spot. Rob Maben having a great fall, and I put War on. Another horse that's, you mentioned those 4 non-2s. He's been running in the marathon series.
Those are way
tougher.
That wasn't tough marathon Bluegrass Man at the Ritz, but I mean, still, Tapacero was in the race, and
they're still tougher than these, and he ran a good race. So I got him in the third spot. I went 1-3-2 in the second. On to the third, a 4 non-3 event, going 6.5 furlongs for boys. I went to the 4 here, Stormy Teen. I don't see a ton of gas in here, and Stormy Teen is quick for owner Doug Clyde, and I just think he gets the lead. Ran against Adams River Run last time. They set a good tempo. He was close to the pace. As you mentioned, that was a race where closers were, dominant. So I got Stormy Teen on top of Power to Believe, the other speed horse to his inside. I think he sits outside of him, but I think this horse has got more juice. So I put him on top of Power to Believe, and I put PB Bolt in the third spot. Last time he was in for a $4,000 tag, won by 6.5. Tried at 16 non-3 against much tougher horses. Now he's back where he belongs. I went 4-1-5.
Yeah, I went to PB Bolt. I thought, it's a big class drop.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't beat the toughest of fields when he broke his maiden, but still prior to that, he ran against One Time, Adams River Run. He ran good races against some non-2-4s that are pretty alive, and then stepped up last time against Mr. McCarty, and he just didn't get a trip at all. He was never in the race, was wide. I think he gets a way better trip, and I don't see a ton of. I don't see a. It's not. I don't think it's going to be super. But Stormy Teen didn't get the lead last time because it was 22 flat, 45 and 1. But still, he's got some speed. Power to Believe has speed. But PB Bold, I think, can sit just off of them, or at least be in good position. So I like Reyes getting back aboard too. I put the one Power to Believe in for second. I know he's coming back in a week, but Source ran a big race behind One Big Promise. Those two were well clear, and you know, his sprint races aren't all that bad either. And I put the 7 Stone. I had to put someone in for third. Stone Ridge Ruler. I think Amadale will suit this horse to a T. If there is some lightning up front and some action, then I think Stone Ridge Ruler can make a big one-run move for Amadale. I went 5, 1, and 7 in the third. Fourth race, $4,000 claimers going a mile and a 16th. I went back to the 4 Rosie's Notice. Did win this race a couple weeks back, and he should get a good trip in behind the speed. I know he got a good rails run to get the job done to defeat Halo's Quest, but I think those are your 2 horses. I went back to 4 and 5. Those 2 were, you know, I thought both ran credible races last time, and I put the 1 Occupy Vancouver for third. 4, 1, and 5. I thought those were your 3.
I went with Rosie's Notice on top 2. I put the other Jim Brown horse in the second spot. Occupy Vancouver just missed by 3/4 of a length to Swiss Arrogant in his latest. And I put Wiley's Command, who comes out of that same race as Occupy Vancouver. He was a length back of him in the last. I went 4, 1, and 6 in the fourth. On to the fifth, the distaff for fillies and mares. Best bet of the day here for me, Touching Promise. She's had a great year. Had a tough, not a tough trip, but
He had an odd trip last time.
Yeah, like a taxing trip, I think is the word I'm looking for. Last time, only got beat a length and a half en route to trying to get her third straight ballerina. This race, I mean, she's well in front of everybody else who was in here. She's my best bet of the day. Got Touching Promise on top of Locket, the other older mare who figures to be you know, a force in here. She's the other one that likes to go long, and Frank Barby always does a great job with her. And Sailing for the Sun, who comes off a 5th in the ballerina. I took the 3 girls coming out of the ballerina. 1, 3, and 2 for me.
Yeah, I agree with the 1. Obviously, Touching Promise. I mean, she's the one of the best mares on the grounds, and circumstances kind of got her beat. Perhaps paid a little too close attention to the 2 horse Sailing for the Sun last time. Tried to put her away early in the race, and it cost her. Because Victorous and Snuggles are very nice horses, and and then Amadeo was sitting waiting on the turn for competition to come, and they were rolling Snuggles and Victorous, and it's tough to get caught flat-footed and to re-rally with only an 1/8 of a mile to go in a 1 mile and an 1/8 race. And I'm making excuses for her, but she did run a big race and probably could have done better if he would have just gone on with her. But Touching Promise in this race should be really tough. Locket gets a break in the weights, gets 6 pounds. That could be enough maybe to make things interesting. And I put the 5 horse Amber Moon, who's been in tough spots all season long, been in sprints when she should be routing, been running against the boys when she'd be. She's never been able to get on a good schedule, Amber Moon, but I know she wants to route against the girls, and not particularly these girls, but I think she's as good as the rest of them. I went 1, 3, and 5 in the distaff. On to the BC Cup Classic, $50,000 event, 1 1/8 here for 6 of them. I got a lot of 3-year-olds in here. I've gone to one of them, the 3 horse Crazy Prophet, who was second in the Derby at long odds. Still, this horse has run well behind Opportunistic and Silvertone, and he really never did catch any fast paces. And finally, caught a reasonable pace in the Derby, and he was running on well at the end. No match for Sorry About Nothing, but still, I thought he was as good as anything in here. Stablemate Twist Grips, who really doesn't want to go long, but he can, and he showed in his closing start last year, which finished him off for the year, that he was all right. He ran 3rd behind Shooting Jacket and Slice of Red, who would both be under 1-to-1 in this race if they were in it. So Twist Grips is live. And I put the 6 Always Sunny. He's had an abbreviated campaign. Had a lot thrown at him in the last few races, but I think the spacing is a little bit better for his race. I thought he was the next best. I went 3, 5, and 6.
I don't have much to add. I got the 3 Crazy Prophet on top of John's other horse. I got the Jon Snow Exactor like you. I got Crazy Profit off a great second in the Derby, above Twist Grips.
But Twist Grips can win. I mean, they're both. You need them both.
Oh, yeah.
This is like this much between the two of them. They're both.
I think Crazy Profit, I think, is better at the distance, which
9 furlongs is going to help.
Gives me the
that
gives me the nod for him with Twist Grips. He's more of a closing sprinter. And my Wise Guy horse in here, my third horse, who I don't mind, is Pfeiffer. There's not a lot of gas in here. He could get on the lead. He's 3 for 4 lifetime. And he could, I mean, he's running for 16 against 3-year-olds, but he could get away from him and make some noise under Antonio Reyes. That's my Wise Guy horse in here. I went 3, 5, and 1 in the BC Classic. On to the 7th, claiming 4,000 for older Colts and Geldings.
Big field of 10 in here. There's a whole pile
yes,
of
there's
them.
a bunch in
3
here.
pages of them.
What did I do?
All the contention's on the outside.
It is. That's the horses I went to. I got the 9 Majestic Mark on top. He's on a 2-way race winning streak. There's no reason why he can't come back and win this one. It should set up well for him. You know, there's 10 horses, and he's just got a really cool kick. And, you know, he's beat a bunch of these. I just don't see any newcomers that are tougher than him. I got Majestic Mark on top of the classy old veteran. Lauren 500 dropped to this level last time for the first time in his career and made it a winning one by almost 2 lengths over Swiss Aragon, who came back to win. Lauren 500 in the second spot. And Ambidextrous Duke, who's had a solid season. What is that? 6 for 9 in the money. He always seems to show up to play in the third spot. I went 9, 4, 10.
Yeah, I agree with the outside horses, but I put the 8 on it.
I missed last year's reward. I should have had last reward
horse.
coming off a win for 62.50. I missed that one.
Yeah, it's
one I should have had.
But still, a horse that, he's pretty consistent sprinting. Yeah. But no, I know you make a good case. Lauren 500 can beat these horses. Maybe that's what he needed. It was a win for 4,000, and he can get back up. I don't have Lauren 500 in there, but I can see him winning it. He's got back class.
Yeah, you wouldn't be standing there with your mouth open if you won it.
If you won, of course, he can win for 62.50. But I went 8, 9, 10. I thought last year's reward was live, obviously. Now the 9, Majestic Mark, back-to-back wins, gets Richard Hamill now for the injured Silvino Morales, who we can't report. I think we reported last week, but he's doing fine.
Yeah,
he'll be out for a while, but he's out for the rest of the year, but he'll be fine. And the 10, Ambidextrous Duke is in play as well. They got to overcome their posts, though. But I did go 8, 9, and 10. Kick off the late pick 4 onto the 8th race, your final win 3 of the year. $16,000 claimers here, non-3 lifetime, going a mile and a 16. I went to the 3 Sunset Drive. I liked him for 25 grand. I'm going to like him for 16. He is running his older horses, though, which makes things a little more difficult. But the race didn't come up super tough. But he's had a couple of brutal trips in his last 2, and gets back with Reyes, and that's good. That's good news. And that could be. He could possess some value anyway. The 2 horse We Found Gold, I think, is really alive in here. That horse was, he's coming back in a week, but still, I thought a very good run after battling on the pace and losing late to Coulterberry and Dashing Dawn. I thought he ran a big race. And the 6 Mighty Mesa, back in going along. He's a better horse routing. He sprinted last time, got a little far out of it, made a bit of a rally, but Richard Hamill sticks with him for Nancy Betts, who's had a great season. I went 3, 2, and 6. I thought those were your 3 horse. I don't know. I left out the mare bonus, man. I don't know. Rosie Anderson's horse that horse is all right. I don't know what to do. But,
I know. But Girl Facing the Boys, and she doesn't have a rider yet, which
I always get a lot of times they scratch the ones that don't have a rider, and that's a little leery. But I went 3, 2, and 6 in race number 8.
I went with We Found Gold on top. I thought a great run behind Dashing Dawn and Coulterberry last time at the $25,000 level. Now drops into a 16 non-3. It is against older horses, but there's not really any older horses in there except for bonus spin. So I got We Found Gold on top. Of a 4-year-old, CC and Water for Hall of Fame. Washington Hall of Famer Jim Penny. Good second last time behind Mr. McCaughey. Mr. McCaughey came, caught everybody, but I think CC and Water, I think he'll stretch out good too. He's an Aragorn of a Carson City mare, the Aragorn Giants Causeway line. He should be able to get the distance. Jim Penny always does well with horses of all over the map. And, of course, horses that can run long. So I got CC and Water in the second spot, and I got Mighty Mesa. As you mentioned, this is a horse that's better going long. Dropped into a 16 non-3 last time. This one's going long. He's going to do better today. 2, 4, 6 for me in the 8th. On to the 9th. 62.50 claimer for older boys going a mile and 16th. Field of 8 in here. I went to the 1 classy old veteran Bear Rock and Roll. Breaks from the inside. It's going to be on the lead. I don't think he gets an abundance of pressure from this field.
He's not going to be on the lead.
You don't think he's on the
Proxy
lead?
Man gets the lead.
Oh, Proxy Man, where's he? That's who's on the lead.
Yeah, he gets the lead. Bear Rock and Roll will be in good position.
No. Proxy Man will be in position, you're right. Proxy Man gets the lead. Bear Rock and Roll is right behind him. Forgot about Proxy Man. I think he sits right behind him, and gets win number 25. Cool old Bear rock and roll. I put At the Ritz in the second spot. He's on a roll right now. Won at the $4,000 level, came back good second, a hard-fought second. Him and Bluegrass Man battled the whole way around there. He was on the inside. Bluegrass Man's on the outside. The outside horse always has a slight advantage, and he beat him by a half length. But I think he's rolling right now for Hall of Famer Harold Barabee. Him in the second spot. I put Brother Duster, who's always dangerous at this level. Good third last time behind Citron Kid and Bear Rock and Roll for owner Ken Johnson. 1, 2, 6 for me.
Yeah, agreed. The 1 and 2 of the horses to beat, definitely.
Yeah.
Bear Rock and Roll is, he's a cool horse. He's on his, his last season probably racing. He's an 11-year-old. And at the Ritz, though, this horse is just coming to hand at the right time. And, this horse is running well. But I just thought the 7, Proxy Man's going to get the lead. He's dangerous. He's run some big races.
He's been running tougher company.
That race on August the 12th, when he ran for $8,000 and wired the field and beat off the top and Timber Topper, but most importantly, beat off the top. Battled hard on a fast pace, and I just think he's going to get the lead. We'll see if he still is that same horse. That's the only thing. Maybe he's, his last few races haven't been so swift. So I put him in. I try him to win it, but at the Ritz and Bear Rock and Roll, I definitely put him behind. I went 7, 2, and 1. All right, the 10th and final live race.
This is it.
This is it. The finale, we're going to serve up some $4,000 fillies and mares non-3 lifetime going 6.5 furlongs. The 6-horse Valid Vow was a very unlucky loser last time. It was last weekend, and this filly can come back and run another good one. I think she wins. I went Valid Vow. Over the 4, Go-Go Eileen, who is not at her best distance, but still is very sharp, and you want to stick with fillies that are sharp in the fall. And I put the 5-horse Touch of Green in for 3rd for Hall of Famer Dave Forster. I thought, another one not at her best distance, but still at this level, she should be pretty dangerous. Ran against the boys last time, and I think the return against the girls will be what she needs. And even at this distance, she should be respected. 6, 4, and 5 for me in the finale.
I'm very similar. I like Valid Vow. Just gets beat a half length by Texas Alley Cat.
Terrible trip.
Good spring.
I was impressed with the way she handled adversity, because usually she's gone wire to wire in her wins, and she didn't. She was running on well at the end.
She ran really well at the end. Thought she was going to get there. Valid Vow for me wins the nightcap, the last race of the year for Canmore Farms and Mark Kluche. Queen of Barn Eye, Rob Maven's other horse, I put in the second spot. Really good effort. She wins at a non-2 over We're As Good As Gold to come back to win her non-2, and a good effort last week, running 3rd. I think she improves in her second try against non-3 girls. Put her in the second spot, and I agree with you. Touch of Green in the 3rd spot. He ran against boys, going long last time. Now she's back in against girls. It is sprinting. That's why I have her in the 3rd spot, but she's live as well. I went 6, 2, 5 in the last race of the year. That'll do it for our analysis of the finale races. Up next on the screen will be our picks. Mike, as always, you're up first.
There we go. Back on race number 1. I did go to the 4-horse. Aditya, heavy favorite, likely. 4, 5, and 1. Race number 2, I went to the 4 again. 1 tie. I'm going to try and get a wire performance from the Sean Lawson runner. 4, 1, and 2. Race number 3, I went to the 5, PB Bolt. Returning to a better level. 5, 1, and 7. Race number 4, I went to the 4, Rosie's Notice. Perhaps a repeat performance for him at this level. 4, 5, and 1. Race number 5, I went to the 1, Touching Promise, a filly mare champion, and likely again. 1, 3, and 5. 6th race number 3, Crazy Prophet, over the 5 and 6. Good little renewal of the classic. Race number 7, I went to the 8, Last Year's Reward. I'm going to go 8, 9, and 10. Race number 8, I went to the 3, Sunset Drive, over the 2, We Found Gold, and the 6, Mighty Mesa. Race number 9, the Speedy Proxy Man. I'm going to go 7, 2, and 1. And race number 10, the 6, Valid Vow, coming back in a week. I think she can do it. 6, 4, and 5. Now on to Drew.
There we go. Back in the first, I went to the 1, Power Corrupt, over the 4 and the 5. In the second, I went to the 1, Otis Brown, over the 3 and the 2. In the third, I went to the 4, Stormy Teen, over the 1 and the 5. In the fourth, number 4 again, Rosie's Notice, over the 1 and the 6. In the fifth, I'm all about the 4s and the 1s today.
Yeah,
number 1, Touching Promise, over the 3 and the 2.
Red bingo balls up there.
In the 6, number 3, Crazy Prophet, over the 5, Twist Grips, and the 1, Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer's my wise guy horse in there. The 7th, number 9, Majestic Mark, over the 4 and the 10. In the 8th, number 2, We Found Gold, over the 4 and the 6. In the 9th, the old campaigner, number 1, Bear Rock and Roll, over the 2 and the 6. And in the nightcap, I agree with Mike on number 6, Valid Vow, over the 2 and the 5.
Well, thanks everyone for tuning in to the final edition, of
Final
the
Hastings edition.
But just a quick reminder that we will be doing a Breeders' Cup show as always. 2 great days, the Breeders' Cup.
What a bunch of superstars are shaping up this year too, with California Chrome in the Classic, Songbird and Beholder in the Distaff.
There's going to be some great hookups in some of these races. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Arrogate against California Chrome.
It's going to be a lot of fun to handicap and try to digress and go through a lot of these races and try and dissect a winner out of a lot of these horses will have a bunch of ones on their form. They win races, and that makes things a little more difficult. But the Hastings season comes to a close this Sunday. First race at 150, 10 races on tap. Should be a lot of fun. Hopefully you enjoyed our analysis throughout the season of the Hastings program. Thank you to our loyal viewers for tuning in. We really appreciate you taking time to listen to our opinions on a lot of the races. They've been right, they've been wrong, but that's what horse racing is.
More wrong than right.
That's okay. That's horse racing. If you're right
exactly
30% of the time, which is like a phenomenal,
that's
you're wrong 70% of the time. So it's a tough gig to be right all the time, but we do appreciate our loyal viewers. On behalf of Drew, thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll see you next time for Breeders' Cup Edition here at the Derby Bar and Grill of Handicappers Corner.